Hello everybody, this is Inside here with LEGO Transformers, the Combiner of Combiners. And if you're curious, here is the sister in robot mode, and back of her is her brother. And if you're wondering why the brother becomes a female, sorry about that. I have a story about that. So essentially hold on, focus camera. So essentially what had happened was during the birth of combiners, the spark got split into two other sparks. Why this was so that way it was more difficult for others to tell who becomes like the whole combiner of combiner's sister. Because otherwise, they were essentially born, like the combiner of combiners, including the combiner of combiner's sister, were born from a godlike figure known as the Void in my universe. So don't take this as canon. It's just my universe. And so the best means of trying to suppress this was to separate them in some capacity. And so what the Void decided to do was split them apart in a way. Make it to where the combiner sister would separate into, two different parts, while the combiner of combiners would split into many more because he was a full-on combiner. Not just like a one that would stick with like one or so, but he would stick with like many parts. And it is also stated that he was also quite charming he's also quite charming from what it is stated. Now, nobody knows the reason why this was the case, but there are some hypotheses of why this happened, like some theories of why this had happened. But essentially, what one of the cases stated could be true if it's done in the correct manner, or stated in the correct manner. The reason why the brother was given two sparks was not only to make it to where it was more difficult for others to figure out if he becomes part of it, like part of the combiner's sister, but was also made as a bit of a self-defense mechanism. And the reason why is because the combiner of combiner's sister was something I'm going to call a sword siege. Well, sword siege, which is, in my universe, a term that is made for those who use a sword, but could use dark energy, dark matter, and antimatter all at once into creating stronger variations of their own weapons, such as their own swords and such. And this very reasoning was one of the reasons why it was somewhat difficult to figure out, is because nobody had ever heard of the term of sword siege. And so, upon them hearing about this, Transformers hearing about this, one of them got curious and decided to ask, how does the sword siege work? Like, what are some of the abilities that the sword siege might have? Now, excuse me. Okay, that should do right there. And essentially, what the brother had stated of what a sword siege is like is Oh, hold on. Essentially, what I said about the sword sage is basically that sword sages tend to be more to keep to themselves. They don't tend to talk to others, since talking to others would be deemed a bit of a crime in some way. Hence to why these two don't exactly talk to many people. And so, upon them hearing about this, the Transformers decided, some Transformers decided to try to trick them into talking to others. But this did not work out in their favor. Because, let's just say, Sword Sages are known to also being able to somewhat tell the future in a way. Not to a certain degree. Like, they could tell the future to a certain degree, just not too far, if you catch my drift. So, the brother was born with two sparks because of like a self-defense mechanism in some way. How this self-defense mechanism worked is somewhat still a mystery. But that doesn't mean that there's means to figuring this stuff out. As one Transformer known as Scoop had figured out that to a certain degree, a Transformer might know this if they could figure out how to time a certain Transformer out, that being Flightful Commander. If I could not only track him down, but also have him talk to said Transformers, they will be given some intel on the Combiner of Combiners. And why the sister knows a little bit of Nutcracker. Like, the only thing she knows is the last name, like the letters for it, but she can't decipher the actual name of it. And if you're wondering what the design was based upon, it was based upon like a New Zealand priestess or something like that. I don't know. I did very little to no research into it, because I don't know much about Voodoo. Don't want to know much about Voodoo. And here is the Combiner sister and in mode. And as you can see, why she looks like that. And so this has been Hidden Sight signing out, and make sure you guys leave me a comment down in the comment section down below with the story of how the brothers bark works, because I don't know. I'm criticizing myself right now, so who knows. If you're trans, let me know down in the comments. Bye.